Okay, so welcome back.
Perfect.
Remarkable Women Leading the Binti Shupavu expansion. We are super excited to have everybody here today. The Binti Shupavu program, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is a 4-year life skills course that was developed and designed in Tanzania, a very Tanzania specific context, to teach girls life skills that would also help them increase their study habits and their graduation rates. And so you can see on the screen all of the different activities that happen throughout this program over a 4-year period to help girls understand very important topics that can stay with them throughout their lives, things like timetable management, study habits, personal leadership skills. And these are all taught by an educated woman mentor who meets with girls every single week in their classroom as an extracurricular activity. It involves parents and it involves school participation. And there are a lot of exciting things that GLAMI has been able to build out over the years. GLAMI being Daring Girls' sister organization in Tanzania that has been implementing and leading this program since it launched in 2017. They have the capacity to provide weekly social workers and do an alumni network for girls and do a lot around this program. But the core of the program is really teaching girls life skills and study skills that they need to graduate from lower secondary school and make sure that they're resilient and prepared to face future challenges. So we have had and seen a lot of success together as we've supported this program through our partner GLAMI in Tanzania. Girls are more confident. They leave the program typically graduating at higher rates than their peers. They agree and they believe that they have a strong vision for their own future. And that's something at Daring Girls that we want every girl to believe about themselves. So we sat back and we get asked about this program all of the time. GLAMI and Daring Girls are getting lots of requests over the years. Please bring this program to my school, bring this program to my country. And so a couple of years ago, we stepped back and said, wait a second, what if we said yes? What if we could develop a version of Binti Shupavu that we could offer to organizations in other countries that wanted to work with us to contextualize the curriculum and really localize it to meet the needs of girls in their specific communities? And what if we could see the same impact that GLAMI sees in Tanzania as a result of all of that? What if girls started advancing from year 1 to year 2, 3, 4 in their education because they felt so motivated and confident because of this program? And so we said yes. And this is sort of the vision and the model that we've been working on as we've developed this pilot together. Really looking at local partners that have the knowledge, the networks, access, and trust, pairing that with Daring Girls and some funding to implement a pilot project, as well as training and wraparound support that we partner with GLAMI to offer. So GLAMI has all of these items, a proven curriculum, expertise, and training. And our belief was that if we put this out there for organizations to discover and to really review a kind of a thorough skeleton of what the program could look like, if organizations were interested in this, we would partner with them to contextualize it and work with these organizations to deliver a pilot project. And so we had a really a big response. We expected, I will be honest, about 20 applications from organizations, but instead, when we launched this in January of 2023, putting out a call for partners, we had, you can see all the impact on the screen, 200 organizations completing our self-assessment, 75 applications submitted, 12 countries were represented, and all of this was in a very tight window where we published the opportunities sort of through the friends and family network, I guess I'll call it. So, there really is huge interest, and we're so proud that now Daring Girls has partners in 4 countries, starting with our sister organization in Tanzania, and we are also now in Kenya, Zambia, and Zimbabwe through these programs. And this is where I'll stop and make a plug that we are not currently looking to add new partners right now. However, I am still getting lots of interest all the time. And if you are watching this and you are interested in Binti Shupavu at some point, there is a form on Daring Girls website. You can go to the bottom of any country page, and there is a question that says, is Daring Girls looking for more partners in Zambia? Is Daring Girls looking for more partners in Kenya? Click there and it'll take you to a page that ends in partnerships dash interest. And you're welcome to fill out that form. We are tracking interest, and hopefully one day we'll have the funding to bring on many more new partners in many more places. So if you're interested, there is a place for you to go. So with that, I'd love for my colleagues to introduce themselves, starting with my longest colleague, Ananda Nunko with GLAMI, who's the executive director there. You can see just in numbers some of the impact GLAMI has created. This is just such a small snapshot of the massive body of work that they've put out there supporting girls. With that, Ananda, I would love for you to introduce yourself and also to tell us a little bit about GLAMI and what it's been like for GLAMI to be part of this pilot so far and working to take this program to new countries and more girls.
Wow, thank you very much, Jessica, and wonderful to meet all of you who are looking at this session today. And this is because of the wonderful relationship that GLAMI and Daring Girls have done to empower girls. So I'm Anande Nko, as Jessica has introduced me, and I represent a team of wonderful, amazing ladies who are doing great works in Arusha, Kilimanjaro, and Morogoro. And as you have seen, we are impacting more girls over 14 years. We have been there to support, empower, but also to make sure that girls finish the entire education system, become resilient, become confident, and better future leaders. So GLAMI has been a journey throughout the time that we started with 2 schools, and right now we're speaking of 50 partner schools. We started with 20 girls, and right now we are speaking of the impacts that we are seeing. As you'll notice, alumni are right now 12,320. So being part of the this expansion, international expansion with Daring Girls, and joining up with Kenya, Zambia, and the sister organizations that were working together, it's amazing. And why is it? I'll say it's because of the way our designing models are. One, it's for young women or women to be role models to younger girls that we are missing it in the community. And you later on realize it's really important for girls to have role models. But again, what it takes for girls to remain in school, the ripple impact that you get after a girl being educated. It means the community is educated. It means we have a healthier family. So there's amazing opportunities when it comes to investing in girls' education and mentorship to girls. And for GLAMI, for once, in Daring Girls, we have witnessed that. And we want to keep on sharing that relationship and that impact with other organizations and countries. Thank you very much, Jessica. Maybe I can stop there for a while.
Thank you. I will be back to you. I've got more questions for you. Thank you, Anande. All right. Next, Dr. Judy, you referred to yourself as our second oldest sister behind Tanzania because we started working with Kenya back in May of 2023 is when Binti Shupavu, you all launched that. So, Dr. Judy, I would love for you to go next and to introduce yourself. And if you can also tell us not only just yourself, your role at the organization, give us a brief organizational overview of what CWE-TECH does so people have an understanding that Binti Shupavu is one piece of several of pieces of work that you do. And then I would love for you to share also why you wanted to bring Binti Shupavu to Kenya.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Judy Makera. I'm the CEO and co-founder for Center for Women Empowerment in Technology, CWE-TECH. This is an NGO based in the rural heart of Murang'a County in Kenya. And here we have a center where since 2019, we have been mentoring young people. We have been training digital skills, and we have trained over 1,000 young people on digital skills. We have been mentoring young girls and providing sanitary pads. And basically, we have been empowering women all around, economically, socially, health-wise. And therefore, in the course of our empowerment of women and girls, we discovered that we had a gap, and that gap was on mentoring girls at the secondary school level. So what we would do is actually just receive them from high school as they are and start nurturing them from there. And therefore, when the opportunity came and we saw a call by daring girls, we responded to it. Why did we respond to it? We saw that this is a gap, this is a bridge we had always looked for, a bridge that would take us right at the heart of secondary schools, where we would nurture the girls in their formative years. Remember, when we nurture them post-secondary, it's like we were doing curative. So we wanted to go preventive, and Daring Girls and Binti Shupavu program offered this opportunity. And therefore, we jumped at the opportunity. And in 2023, May, we became the first partner outside Tanzania. And we are so happy we've been implementing the program. Right now, we are in 2 schools and 4 classes, and we have 161 scholars. So it has been a journey of working with the girls, mentoring them. And one of the best things about this program is the presence of the mentors. So we have 2 mentors who go to schools every week. And remember, this is in the rural heart of Muranga, so they have to walk like 10 kilometers, sometimes taking motorbikes. Other times the motorbikes cannot reach there because of the hills and they have to walk, especially when it rains. But because of the determination to work with the girls, they get there every week. So this has been our journey. And this year, we also brought in the Form 1 class. So right now we are in Form 1 and Form 2 classes. Thank you. I'll be back.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Judy. All right, Irene, I'd love to go to you next to tell us about yourself, your organization, and what interested you in applying for the Binti Shupavu pilot.
All right, great. Hello, everyone. So I was gonna say, let's remove what Judy has just said and replace with our organization, and then we're done. But yeah, so the Empowerment Initiative for Women and Adolescents is an organization that is currently operating in one of Zambia's rural communities. I am the current CEO, actually. I'm also the founder. I come from a background of development studies and public administration, but currently specializing in girls and women empowerment. Yeah. So we are an organization that basically, like Judy said, similar to Judy, except in Zambia, we work with women and young people in rural marginalized communities. And we aim to work with them directly to empower them with social and economic skills, entrepreneurship skills, enhancing access to information, especially on sexual reproductive health rights. For women, we also try to link them to access to financial resources, yeah, as well as linkage to market for their skills, crafts that they do and small businesses that thrive at the local level. We used to work with women only, but we saw the need of catching them young because eventually in the near future, these young girls in our community who are vulnerable are going to grow into older women, and we're going to have to start coming up with ways of empowering them again. So we took a two-way system where we also work with young people, young girls, and we thought the best place to start would be the schools. So we are doing empowerment programs currently in 6 different schools. And when we started this program, one of the toughest things we encountered was coming up with the right content. And when I say right, I don't mean there's wrong content out there, but something that was speaking to our context, something that was really fitting to speaking to what we needed. We did look around a couple of resources on the internet, online and offline, from mainly international organizations. But it was still hard to, get content from plenty of different resources. And yeah, it was like magic when we saw the opportunity from the Binti Shupavu program. And I must admit that I was very excited because it was like really a program that was just exactly what we needed, what we were doing. And I was very fascinated about the fact that there was a curriculum that was made in Africa, for Africa, and also piloted originally in a very similar context to ours. So we did express our interest, and we also highlighted that we are already doing something similar in our area. And I think at that time I was working so hard to try and develop my own curriculum. You know, sometimes we get very ambitious in this space. We think we can do it all. I mean, it's hard, but I was really relieved when I came across this curriculum. And so right now we are proud to say that we are implementing the Binti Shupavu program in two different schools in our community starting early this year. We started with one school with two classes, and after gaining momentum and figuring out how everything works, we've extended to a second school now. So we have three classes with a total of about 102 pupils. I could go on and on, but so that's a little bit about us for now. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Irene. Um, all right. And last but not least, we will go to Felicia. And Felicia, if you can introduce yourself, what your organization does in addition to Binti Shupavu, and why you were interested in bringing Binti Shupavu to Zimbabwe.
Thank you so much, Jessica, and hello, everyone. So my name is Felicia Mangwende, and I'm currently the Executive Director of Regional Network of Children and Young People Trust. So our organization is mainly dedicated in terms of ensuring meaningful and effective participation of children and young people in addressing the issues that are affecting their lives. So we focus more on ensuring child and youth-led participation instead of doing the advocacy on their behalf. And our approach is kind of unique because we prioritize the establishment of child and youth-led groups at community level, as well as girls clubs. And we have implemented, and we are currently implementing projects that are aimed at reducing teenage pregnancies as well as child marriages in the communities that we serve. And our main thematic areas are sexual reproductive health and rights, child and youth participation, and lastly, girls and young women's empowerment. So you find out that overall, the reason why we wanted to bring Binti Shupavu, just like all my other colleagues have mentioned, we girls in Zimbabwe encounter numerous challenges in terms of accessing their education, with financial barriers particularly burdensome, especially in rural areas where you find boys' education being prioritized. And I can tell you that the situation is becoming worse because currently Zimbabwe is facing the El Nino induced drought, which has resulted in most of school dropouts as well. We also have harmful traditional and religious practices, girls traveling long distances, because mainly as regional network, we work in rural areas. And in those rural areas, you find that the schools cover a wide geographical area, and you find students or girls having to travel long distances to school, like 10 kilometers per each day. So just like my colleagues, we wanted to bring Binti Shupavu to address these mentioned challenges and ensure we provide the girls with the necessary tools, information, and support networks to navigate some of the obstacles that they are currently facing in terms of realizing their full potential. And we have since witnessed the Binti Shupavu program trying to empower the girls by building their confidence, leadership skills, and self-esteem. Because generally in those communities, girls often have no role models and only look or aspire to marriage because that is what is there in their communities. And because in those communities that we've been working in, we have been receiving a high number of dropouts. Even in terms of our program implementation, we had started seeing some girls dropping out from our activities due to the fact that they would be married or they have teenage pregnancies, etc. So the Binti Shupavu was more on trying to ensure that we cover this gap. We ensure that no girl is left behind, and ensure that they also aspire beyond marriage. And this is what I can say so far. Thank you. I'll be back.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So three amazing women at three incredible organizations doing exciting things. And I think there's just a lot of common themes that we all just heard: long walks to school, societal challenges preventing girls from their own empowerment and from their education. A lot of that is similar to Tanzania, where Binti Shupavu originated. So I'd love to go back to you, Anande. And I think one of the exciting things that the pilot enables is just reaching more girls in new ways. And Daring Girls and GLAMI have been doing this well. GLAMI has really been going deeper in Tanzania. Daring Girls is able to focus with this pilot on going a little more wide and reaching more girls in more places. But GLAMI has done so much in Tanzania. You have 7,300 girls enrolled just in Binti Shupavu this year. The program launched in 2017. And I just wonder if you can talk a little bit, and I'll leave this very wordy screen on, but I think the most important piece of this screen are the 5 categories on the left, because this is a 4-year spiral curriculum. So every year of the program, girls are learning the topics on the left and going deeper and deeper into these topics. And I wonder, Ananda, if you can just share a little bit of a history of this program and how it was developed in partnership with the community, schools, parents, and what you've learned kind of through that development and expansion to more than 7,000 girls today in Binti.
Well, Jessica, that's quite interesting because, GLAMI, when it started as AfriCAID Tanzania, by then we started with KISA program or KISA project that most people heard, but it's for advanced secondary school girls. And it was meant to design for girls that to support them to be leaders and move on to university. But again, we used to get so less number, that lower number of girls going to A level. And GLAMI started questioning what is the challenge into that. And then in 2016, a research was conducted within GLAMI and in Tanzania, and trying to see what is the main cause of, girls not going to advanced secondary school. And then the research was conducted focusing on lower secondary school in Kilimanjaro, and it's really helped us to do the research, the findings, and to make sure that we have the need assessment in a way that we understand as GLAMI, how can we come in and support girls' education. So we realized that poverty, early marriages, early pregnancies, but again, peer pressure was one of the reasons that girls were dropping highly in lower secondary school, and they're not going to advanced secondary school, not even be able to go to university. So statistically are showing right now that 39% of girls from primary get into secondary school. But again, only 3% goes to university. Now that is a huge dropout. And you come to ask yourself, where does it happen? And it happens in lower secondary school. So GLAMI came in and asked itself, how can we support the community surrounding it? And discussion started with heads of schools. Discussion went on with the parents of the girls around the schools around. Went to the government as well, realizing how can we support that. But also with the experience that we have, that knowing that extra curriculum of spending at least 1.5 hours or 2 hours with girls in school after their normal classes, that will help them to continue and stay in school. So with that experience in KISA, we started designing and modeling a new program that supports girls. And that is how Binti Shupavu was started. And knowing that throughout the time with assessment, we realize a few things. One, yes, the curriculum and the tradition is of education system does not give girls more opportunities to learn, to see role models, but also to learn from their peers and realize that they can have resilience. They can have the network to support each other. So with that, our model or the curriculum that was designed focused first on the motivation, personal leadership, which that is what builds GLAMI, that if someone is willing to learn on the personal leadership and have the motivation to participate and learn things, then they slowly creating the confidence in, and then they slowly become resilient on things. So we started with that, but also we realized how can we eliminate pregnancies, making the right decision for their bodies, and a lot of girls having incorrect information about maybe menstruation, about pregnancies, about how can they take care of themselves while they're the menstrual cycle. So, and most of the time, they even leave schools because of lack of sanitary pads. So with that research, we came to realize even if that you train a girl to stay in school, but again, there's a need to support a girl for some of the basic needs, because most of them are becoming head providers in their families. And believe me, we have encountered a lot of girls during the social working activities that you realize that the providers. So instead of them being in school and focus in school, they're even thinking, how can they earn something for their family? How can they take care of their little ones? So we also considered that. Again, we went as well as seeing how can they start well in school. Because if you have to stay in school, you have to perform well because of the grades. But again, at the same time, if you want to climb higher to the higher education, you still need to have better performance. So we also work together, making sure that is what's happening. And with the goals, they also try to come in and draw their tree where do they see themselves, the goal, and then how can they achieve that, and work with the mentors directly and the social workers to support them. With the strength and resilience, it comes with time as they learn, but we realize parents are also the important key part of Binti Shupavu to be able to stay in school. So we do parent engagement activities, which is very important because then parents understand the importance of education. They come in and support a lot of activities of girls, and also allowing girls to be in the program and understand better. So there are a lot of good activities that within Binti Shupavu are there to support a girl child to be in school, to remain in school and perform well, but also be resilient and confident at the same time. So maybe I can pause there to just give people a bit of absorbing what Binti Shupavu is all about and what great curriculum is.
Thank you so much, Anande, for that history. And I think, one thing I'm proud of, GLAMI and the history of our organizations together is that all of this really came from needs expressed by partners in schools and by the community, and it was built and grew from there. And I think that that's what we're really trying to do with the pilot. And I think that what we're seeing already with our partners, and I want to get into this next, is some of the ways in which they're localizing the core content to make it as relevant as possible to the needs of girls in the community, to keep it as holistic as GLAMI has designed it to become. So with that, Judy, I would love to turn back to you. This is a photo of a girl who's now in her second year of Binti Shupavu program. And I just wonder if you can say a few words about the changes you've seen in the girls. This is your second year of the program. So you have girls in their first year and girls in their second year. And these are girls now in their second year. What changes have you seen in them since they started the program?
Thank you, Jessica. And yes, those are our girls, very confident looking. So 1 year down the line, I see growth in these girls. I see transformation. I see increased confidence. These girls, when they were joining Binti Shupavu, they could hardly express themselves. They were timid, they were shy, but now they can confidently express themselves. They are able to speak in front of a crowd. And some of the things that we get some of the stories that we get from the school is that if there is something to be done, the first volunteers are always the Binti Shupavu scholars. And therefore, we can say that these girls are now on their way to being empowered to reach their very best. And yes, these girls are going far because of this program. Thank you.
That's great. The slide I'm showing on the screen now, Dr. Judy, is of one of the initial parent engagement meetings that you held. And I wonder if this is something that you have done differently. GLAMI and typically has girls be part of enroll in the program, and then they bring the parents in to help parents understand the curriculum and what their girls will experience. But what you did is a little bit different. And before you even started recruiting girls into Binti Shupavu, you brought all the parents together at the schools where you are. And I just wonder if you can talk a little bit about that decision, why you did that, and how you think it impacted the trajectory of the program between the two schools.
Thank you, Jessica. These are our parents. This was actually the first day that the current Form 2s were having an inception with the parents. So before we started any mentorship, before we kicked off, what we did is that we brought the girls together, the school and the parents. Our motivation to do this was that we wanted the parents to understand the program and its goals. We wanted us to work on the same page. We wanted us to have an open communication between the parents, the girls, and even the school. And because of this, we wanted to foster a kind of mutual collaboration. We wanted this program not to be CWE-TECH's program, not to be Daring Girls program, but to be our program. And this is currently the mentality. It's not CWE-TECH's program. This is our program. It has been owned by parents because we started with them. The school has owned it, and even the girls. And there is a very strong collaboration between these three parties. So to us, the program was a bridge between the parents, the school, and the girls. And therefore, right from the start, there was no way we would leave them behind. And this has also built trust. So the parents right now trust us in executing the program. The parents are very close with the mentors. The parents know exactly what is happening to the girls. And incidentally, like now, when schools are closing in Kenya, if the girls misbehave when they are at home, the parents now can even call the mentors because they know them. Because we keep getting reports from the parents. The parents keep getting reports from the mentors about their girls. So to us, this is like one pot that we are all holding, and no one side should be left behind. If one side leaves, then the pot will fall. So this is, Binti Shupavu is actually a core. It is core owned. It is core accepted. It is a partnership. It is a collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have a couple more photos here. This is one of the mentors, Harriet, with her scholars just a few months ago. One of the other interesting changes that you've made, Dr. Judy, to the program is that you don't start Binti Shupavu right away with the very beginning of the school year. You give the girls a little time to settle in before they join the program. And I wonder if you can talk a bit about that decision and how you think that that has helped girls be successful in school and in the program.
Thank you, Jessica. Yes, when the Form 1s were joining the program this year, they had just come right from secondary school. So we felt that it wasn't right to simply come to a new environment and join the program. And therefore, what we did, we gave them an adjustment period. So this adjustment period was to let them cool off and shed off the primary school mentality. And also, it also allowed them to build relationships between themselves, between them and the teachers, and even with the peers. So once now they had found their ground with this relationship, they were ready to join the program. And therefore, we felt that the girls would be able to articulate their issues more after they join and they stay like for 3 months. Actually, we gave them 3 months before they could join. So during this time, the Form 2s that were ahead of them were still going on. And the curiosity again was aroused. They kept on asking, when shall we join this program? And in the process of asking these questions, the mentors would, along the streets of the school, explain to them that this is what is happening. So by the time now they were joining the program in May, they already knew their expectation. We knew even it was a kind of a need analysis period for us. We knew the challenges they had. And therefore, when they came, it helped the mentors even to tailor their program, the teaching and the implementation according to the needs. They felt like they had already known them in the course of this interaction. So basically, the starting of, even in the next time we are implementing, we shall still do the same. We shall let them stay in school for like 3 months. During this time, we shall be learning them. They'll be getting to know themselves. This transition between primary school and secondary school is a big transition. Already transiting to school is a big challenge. And therefore, we don't want to add on to that by bringing them onto a new program. So we let them adjust in secondary school, cool off, get to know each other, get to understand themselves, and even basically we get an accumulation of the issues that they are going through so that by the time the mentors are getting in, the girls already are settled in secondary school. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you very much, Dr. Judy. Felicia, I'd like to turn back to you now. I've got a photo of your great team here with a couple of GLAMI, or with my colleague from Daring Girls. I know my colleague from GLAMI had to zoom in for this particular training, but I know how much they enjoyed being there and meeting your team. And I've got a couple images from classrooms that you've shared with me as well. And I wonder, if you can speak to, I mean, I want to dive right into results because you have seen some just remarkable results already. You shared with me that last year in 2023, before the program started, in the 2 schools where you're at, one school had lost 17 girls by this time in the first year of their first year of school. The other school had already lost 9 girls. How are things now that Binti Shupavu and RNCYPT are operating in these schools, and that these new Form 1 girls are enrolled in the program? What are dropout rates looking like for the first year girls so far?
Okay, Jessica, thank you. So what we decided, we are currently working in 2 schools, which gives us 2 classes. Why? Because these are rural areas and we only have 2 blocks at the school, which means 1 classroom per each form. So we have decided to just enroll the entire Form 1 classes of girls to address the high dropout rates that you have been speaking to and the barriers that girls generally face in completing their education in these rural areas. So what has happened is our collaboration with the schools revealed that dropout rates are driven by multiple factors. And if I am to take you to the schools right now, you will notice that the higher the form, the lesser girls you have in the classroom. Why is that so? It is driven by multiple factors, including financial hardship, religious beliefs, especially, and as well as early marriages and teenage pregnancies. We acknowledge the efforts that our government has been doing. I think we are one of the few African countries that has criminalized child marriages. And hopefully we are going to be seeing changes in terms of girls getting married early. So this loss, if you track it, it is evident even from the primary level, where some girls are unable to transition to secondary school. And those who do, they often begin with roughly 40 girls in a class, only to see that the number decline with each subsequent level. So in 2019, one of the schools where we are implementing the Binti Shupavu program had only 4 girls sitting for their ordinary level examinations. And in one of the schools, if I just give you a picture of the Form 3 classes right now, these are the classes that I'm mentioning are the classes where we have never implemented Binti Shupavu program, but we are starting with the Form 1s that started this year. So I want you to be able to really see the impact of why we really wanted the Binti Shupavu program in Zimbabwe. It was due to this reason, because one of the schools today is only 5 girls who are left enrolled for Form 3. And since we have implemented the Binti Shupavu program, we've already seen promising changes. And I'm thrilled to share that of all the Form 1 girls enrolled this year, we only lost one to child marriage. And it was before our Marriages Act was passed, which is now criminalizing child marriages. And of course, yes, we had to take, because we work with social workers, the issue was reported to the child care workers and the communities and further taken to the police. And we have seen tremendous success. That's what I can say. So we have only lost one girl since the program has started, and we've been implementing the program for 10 months, which is against what even the heads of the schools have been saying. Last year, the Form 1s, the other school received 17 dropouts, whilst the other school had 15 dropouts. So this is the positive testimonials that we continuously receive from just implementing Binti Shupavu within this short period of time, because the program is not only managing to reduce school dropouts, but it is helping girls to aim high in life, improve even their personal hygiene, prioritize their education more than anything else. I can tell you that we have received even a letter from one of the schools. They are hosting a prize giving day. And we had to send back and say, how many Binti Shupavu scholars do we have that are being awarded for various disciplines? And we are one of the schools that has 39 girls. We have 15 girls who are going to be receiving prizes on the prize giving day, which shows you a plus in terms of the Binti Shupavu curriculum, in terms of how it has kind of come to shape the girls' education themselves. Not only are they receiving, so we have seen these girls are excelling not only academically, sports-wise. We have had that some are going to be receiving awards for being best dressed, smart dressed, good hygiene in school, which are most of the things that they are learning under the Binti Shupavu program. Even when we hosted the International Day of the Girl, we commemorated it in the form of a picnic where girls were portraying their future in the form of drawings. These drawings, I can tell you, they were totally different from the dream trees that they did when the program started. Why they highlighted how their goals are no longer limited to their community, but are now beyond what their communities have to offer. If I show you the dream trees and the drawings that were produced during the International Day of the Girl, you can really see the impact of the Binti Shupavu program. That's what I can say. Over to you, Jessica.
Wow. I mean, honestly, the impact, Felicia, is even more than I had thought. I thought it was 17 girls from one school and 9 girls from the other school had dropped out by this point last year, but 17 and 15 Form 1 dropouts between these two schools last year. And this year, after you started implementing Binti Shupavu, only one girl between the two schools has been lost to the Form 1. And that is just remarkable. And gosh, let's continue this trend. It's just amazing, and you guys are clearly doing great work. And before I let you go, and I want to get to Zambia too to make sure we hear Irene's updates, but you're doing something really cool with sanitary pads, and I wonder if you can speak to that. These are girls, I think, holding their packs of sanitary pads. You have decided to give girls in Binti Shupavu 2 packs of sanitary pads, whether they're menstruating or not. And I wonder if you can talk about why you're doing that and what you're seeing as a result of that small change to the program.
So we're providing each girl in the Binti Shupavu program with 2 packs of sanitary pads each month. regardless of whether they're currently menstruating or not, is a vital part of our initiative. I think it was GLAMI that shared earlier to say some of the times you really need to complement the program to ensure girls continue staying in school. So in these rural areas, we have many families who are living below the poverty line. And sanitary ware, I tell you, is often just seen as a luxury rather than a basic need. So the schools frequently would report that many girls would miss school during their periods, largely because they lack access to proper sanitary ware. As I mentioned earlier, the schools serve a wide geographical areas and girls often walk up to 10 kilometers to attend school. And from our research, many girls would share with you that walking such distances with improvised menstrual materials can cause discomfort and even sores, leading them to stay home instead. So what we have seen with sanitary pads is that they offer those girls comfort and security and help them attend school consistently. And by providing pads to all the girls, even to those who haven't started their cycle yet, we aim to ensure equality and eliminate any discomfort or stigma when they do begin. Imagine now a girl coming in to say, I've now started my menstrual cycle, so can I also receive, sanitary wear, something like that. So additionally, at the start of the Form 1, what we did was to ensure we provide a dignity pack containing, so the picture there is showing the dignity pack. So the dignity pack contained 3 pairs of underwear, Vaseline, toothpaste, and toothbrush, a bathing towel to support their daily hygiene even beyond menstruation. So with this initiative, is already making a significant difference because the girls now feel much more comfortable attending school. For you to hear that a girl has missed school during her menstrual cycle, it's usually rare. And we have also, because of the parents' engagement meetings that we conduct with their parents, we have had them appreciating the efforts that we are doing. I remember one mom of the scholar had to say, I now no longer need to cut up my clothes to ensure my girl child has menstrual. I cover my menstrual needs or her menstrual needs. Why? So, because at the end of the day, you're going to be cutting all of the clothes that you have. If you understand the rural setup, they also do not have much clothes that they can utilize and spare to use as menstrual wear. So we have received very positive feedback in terms of how the girls and even the families, and in terms of how sanitary wear goes even also a step further, ensuring that girls stay in school with not only confidence but with also dignity, because sanitary pad provide much more comfort than other sanitary wear that we would have to improvise to use. So that's what I can say under this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Irene, I'd love to turn to you and back to Zambia. Um, I hear you are a frequent guest in the Binti Shupavu classes where you're working, and I wonder, you stop by, you talk to them about yourself, and I wonder, this is you on screen doing just that, and I wonder if you can talk about why you do that and why you think it's important for you to be in these classes so frequently,
All
along with the
right.
mentors.
Great. Thank you. Can you hear me? I had
Yes.
a bit of a network challenge. I was almost having a heart attack. But yeah, first of all, I think I just want to say that I quite resonate with I think the other 3 countries who've just spoken, and it's interesting that the Binti Shupavu is being implemented in quite similar setups. So it's great. We are also in a rural community, and we are coming from a background where at the onset of these mentorship programs a couple of years ago, I was the only one doing these kind of things in my community. I mean, that is also what led me to start because I saw a gap. I saw how young girls just needed it and so on. So I started this, I think 3-4 years ago. I was going alone in different schools, talking with people, talking to girls. And it did get overwhelming at some point, but it also was not very sustainable. So we needed to come up with different ways of how do we do this? I cannot move in 10 schools alone. And yeah, of course, ideas came up as well as the Binti program, which supports the enrollment, the engagement of peer mentors. I've been privileged enough to actually be in this community 7 years now and going. And I've worked with a lot of young people who've just come from high school and started to ask me, what do you do? We want to come with you when you go to these schools. We want to see what you do. So I led them on into this program and I'm slowly handing over. That's what I can say. So I'm very passionate about this. It's what I do every day. And I think one of the most privileges of this is the same very fact that I live right in this community and I really just jump from one school to the next and just say hello, greet the children, the girls and also the peer mentors love it because they are really also looking up to me as their mentor. And, one interesting thing about this is that every time I go to these schools, the mentees want to prove a point to me. And the point they want to prove is that they are learning something and they're getting better. So we play a couple of games sometimes where they challenge me with questions, I respond. And that's why you see, for example, just in the previous video you showed in the previous slide where they're challenging to test my knowledge because suddenly they know way too much, and which is very good. So yeah, so we go through such issues where they just want to learn as well. And then I also challenge them to tell me something. And most recently, actually, during the International Day of the Girl Child, it was really interesting when the mentees were commemorating this IDG event, and then they had a role modeling session. And guess what? One of them was the mentor, Irene. So I was their special guest, and they wanted to just show me how much they have learned in, with regards to the Binti Shupavu program, to share what it means to them, what it is all about. So they played everything that we've been doing from the beginning. They had some girls playing parents, others were playing the bad parent who doesn't support their child, others were the Irene that came through and say, no, this is what we want to do with you, and this is why we want to do it. So it was really interesting, and yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun and very impactful because the results are seen immediately. We are in a community where, as I mentioned, it's a first of its kind. We've never had such an opportunity, and I think, like Ananda said, we have also older girls who are in secondary school, but we've also noticed that, when they're going upwards and upwards, the numbers keep reducing, like Felicia also said. And so we are working directly with Form 1s of Zambia who are in grade 8. So right after primary school, they transition to secondary school, which is grade 8, and we start with them just at that point. So we've started with a grade 8 class, but we also started with a grade 10 class because we would like to see how we compare and contrast. And interestingly, because it's a first of its kind, we've got parents who've been asking, where have we been all this time? They've been wanting this. I have personally been approached by girls in other communities where we're not working. They walked 10 kilometers to my house to come and ask me, we've heard about this program we're doing, and when can we be part of it? So we also have teachers, a head teacher of another school came to ask why we're not working in their schools. And I must mention that after 2 schools, almost a full year of implementing Binti Shupavu, 2 different classes, 3 different classes, we are feeling very confident to add 2 more schools beginning of January 2025. And we would like to see how this goes, because we've seen the results, and it's not just talk, because people seeing it and they're coming to ask for it because they know that it is helping a lot in the community. We are seeing girls becoming more confident. We are seeing girls promising themselves to do better, to aspire. They have a slogan in our classes where they say, not even the sky is the limit for them, so it's been really amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. Well, that's exciting. I'm glad you're able to spend so much time with the girls and that this has been just such a great addition to the program. And I think you're hearing what Daring Girls and GLAMI have heard for years.
Mm.
And I know that Judy and Felicia are hearing too, is that there is just so much need for programming like this and desire for programming like this.
Mm.
So one other thing you mentioned was peer mentors. And actually, I want to pause for a moment. I know we're coming up on time. If there are any folks watching that have a question, I am monitoring the comments. So if you're watching this right now and you have a question that you'd like one of our panelists to address, drop it in the chat and I'll ask it. We'll have time for maybe one before we let everyone go. But Irene, I want to go back to the peer mentors that you talked about, and that is something that's different than what has traditionally been done with the Binti Shupavu mentoring program. And I wonder if you can speak to the peer mentors and the kind of the professional women mentors and how they're working together and kind of these layers of role models that you're giving to girls through that decision.
Right, thank you. So again, like I mentioned, being a rural community, Rufunsa district is one community which has been, geographically disadvantaged, and many young people lack opportunities for empowerment and employment. So we do not only have school leavers, we also have young women and men, of course, who've graduated from university and are currently not in employment, waiting to be deployed either by the government or by the private sector. But in the meantime, these young women are eager to do something with their time. They've got now a skill, they've got a profession. So on the screen, we have actually two young ladies, Bridget and Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a college graduate. She's done teaching, and Bridget is also volunteering at the local hospital as a psychosocial counselor. And these young women want to come and work with us, and they spare their time once a week to go to the local school and engage with the mentees. So the use of college graduates has been really profound to us because we are a community which has originally not valued education. The people here have been so marginalized and remote. In the past, they relied on just other activities like farming. So it's an agrarian society, and they didn't actually see the value of education. So the coming in of young girls, young women who are completing education is a huge milestone, and we're using it as an example. We want to show the younger ladies, the mentees, to say, look, we have these young ladies here who've done it, and they have their own stories to tell. When they're in these classes, they share about their own experiences, the hurdles they faced, and it's not just far-fetched stories. We are not fishing it from anywhere, but it's right here. And so we are using them in that context. And also we are working directly with school leavers. So there's like a hierarchy of, people. We have college graduates who are also using their time to mentor other mentors who are fresh from high school about career guidance, making informed decisions about where we end up, after high school, then what? So those school leavers are also coming down to their younger ladies who are now the mentees, and are also using their immediate past experiences with school challenges during exams, studies, and how to overcome all those fear, failures, anxiety, the inability to make informed decisions due to lack of access to information. So it's been really wonderful. I just want to give you an example of one of the mentees I engaged with, and I was really happy about her. She says, for example, before coming into this program, I used to be very shy to turn down, invitations by friends to go, for example, out of school, run away from classes, go to the nearby market to just walk around. I never wanted to do these kind of things, but I didn't know how to say it. And since I started the Binti, being part of these classes after receiving mentorship, I have, for the first time, told my friends I cannot go with them where they want to go, because finally I can voice out what I want. I have the courage and the confidence. So sometimes these young women, young girls actually know what is okay, what isn't, what is right and not, but they do not know how to bring it out. So we work on communication skills, we work on, confidence building, and for them to know that being a confident person does not just mean saying yes all the time. And we can be wrong and still be confident. We can disagree and still be confident. So they are learning all of this. And it's really, interesting for us as an organization, as well as also part of the partners of the Binti program. We're very proud of the progress so far. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for all of that, Irene. I think I could talk to you all for like 5 hours, but I know you don't have that kind of time. So I'd love to just quickly go back to Anande and ask you to talk a little bit about why you think collaborations like this on the pilot are important in scaling initiatives like Binti Shupavu to reach more girls. And then I'd love to close out maybe if Irene, Felicia, or Dr. Judy, if you have a story about a girl who was able to maybe overcome a challenge in her life or who used what she learned in Binti Shupavu in a way that really inspired and surprised you. I'd love to close out on a story or two because those are always, I think, so meaningful to me and also to those watching. So, but Anande, I'll come to you first, and you've been sitting here absorbing all of this, just like me. Why, after hearing all of these kind of great changes that these women are making to improve the way the program's delivered where they are, why do you think initiatives like these kinds of partnerships are so important for scaling programs to reach more girls in more places?
Jessica, I must say the network that is between GLAMI, Daring Girls, and the three other organizations can speak by itself for the witnesses that have been the testimony that we have heard here. And just to recap, just if someone missed out, that the challenges across sub-Saharan countries is much similar, the same when it comes to girls' education. But then there are organizations that are here doing amazing jobs that a network like what Daring Girls is bringing is very important to invest on. And I'll say that because, Antonio, Mr. Antonio, the Secretary of UN, posted back in July saying about they anticipate by 2030, 80 million children will be dropping out of school. So what we are doing currently, we are trying to solve that challenge right away. But again, if you recall the MasterCard Foundation and McKinsey report, that really says that the investment in it, when it comes to girls and young women, how it will elevate the GDP. So it's worthy investing on girls' education. It's worthy investing on projects like Binti Shupavu right now, so that by that time comes, we have a bigger community that young women are invested on, and they can go back to the community and unleash, eliminate the poverty, but early pregnancies, early marriages, but also create the role models that our young ladies, our girls are needing it. And I will say probably one thing that most people are hearing that is not right is the fact that now people are saying there's a lot of investment on girls' empowerment. Rather, if you go back to look at the statistics, you really need to invest on girls because the data says otherwise. And investing on the program like this, where you collect the raw data and you meet the actual implementers in network that is creating by Daring Girls, you will see the investment and you will be realizing that it's worth investing and the ripple effect is on the peak. So I'll stop there because I know the time is, but it's worth investing on network like this. It's worth investing on mentorship of girls' education. Please do that.
Thank you. Ananda, I think that is so important because I think with reports and things like that, I mean, what we're doing is about the end game. This is about keeping girls in school, but it's about what girls will do with that education. They will continue their education. They will get good jobs. They will become leaders who solve problems for other women and continue to be role models for the next generation. So we're at sort of the beginning of this continuum, but I'm so proud of this work that everyone is doing together because it really is about the end game of getting women into positions where they can lead change in their communities that solve bigger problems. So with that, I'd love to hear about some of the girls. If anyone has a story about a girl in the program where you've seen, a really remarkable change based on something she's learned, I'd love to hear it. Or if any of our partners have a question for each other, we have maybe a minute or two for that. So I will throw it to all of you, to somebody to raise your hand and chime in. with a story or a question.
Okay, there's a hand, right? I think Judy has a hand.
It's okay. Go on. Go on.
Okay. All right. Should I talk?
Yeah, go ahead, Irene, and then Dr.
Okay.
Judy.
It's all right. It's all right. So, well, I don't have a story to share. I mean, I would have plenty, but I think I just wanted to say that these, empowering girls, and just second with Anande, that, the empowerment of girls is quite crucial. And I always refer back to a time when I was a young girl, growing up to this point, and having never had the opportunity to actually be guided and mentored at all. And also remembering all the times I made uninformed decisions, personal decisions, career choices, professional. And I just think that with the coming in of such programs, it is really relevant and important. And we are seeing how it is helping the girls to become more confident. We are seeing how in our classes, we are recording less teenage pregnancies. Of course, we haven't yet achieved what we want, but we are seeing the progress, and it is gradual. And it's going to take some time. So I think the only way to achieve this is if we continue to do it, for quite a long period of time. But of course, not forgetting that we need to also see how we incorporate programs that, bring in the boy child as well, because we are going towards gender equality in the end. We are also acknowledging the fact that many of the challenges that girls face are also touching on men and the boys. Because, I mean, if we talk about teenage pregnancies, if we talk about bullying and shaming in schools, it also has something to do with the boys. And yeah, so in our programs, we try to see how we partner with the schools, for example, once in a month to host sessions where we also just talk to the boys and, bring them along. And interestingly, they do have a lot of questions to ask, and yeah, so we are happy to use such a program to also pass on information to, the populations that need it. Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. Dr. Judy, you had something to share.
Yes. I just wanted to share a story of this year, early this year, when we were bringing in the Form 1s. It's one of the stories that really touch my heart even now. Murang'a in Kenya is peculiar with cases of single parents, and also the girls that we mentor, a good percentage of them is brought up by grandparents, where the mothers dropped out of school and they ran away to Nairobi, and they don't come back. So the grandparents are left with the girls to take care of. So we are kind of now breaking that cycle, because if we don't prevent the school dropouts at this time, then the cycle will go on. Next time, it is these girls who will run away and leave their children. So when we were bringing in the Form 1s, one parent, a testimony that still touches my heart even now, a single parent, a father, came to school for the inception meeting. And when it was, after we explained about the program, he stood up and he was almost in tears. And he said, I am so happy about this, because I want to tell everyone in this meeting that I had carried a cane to beat my girl. They had been fighting with the girl. The girl had been indisciplined. The girl was just out of this world in terms of indiscipline. But when now they came for the inception, the girl, when we said that one of the girls can now say something, the person who raised up her hand was that girl. And then she spoke and brought everyone in that room into tears. She admitted how she has been fighting with the father, how even that morning they are not talking with the father, how the father is beating her. And from that time, we were able to create a bond between them, and also between them and the school, and also with the mentors. And as the schools were closing this time, I had to follow up to find out about that girl. And I'm told that she's one of the best girls in the school now. So this is a testimony, and we are hoping there are so many other stories about this. But that parent has also, last week, he called me and told me that Binti Shupavu is the best thing that ever happened to him. He was actually joking that I want to buy you a gift, But again, it was on a light note, and we were so happy that we are touching lives. So this is one of the many stories, and I'm so happy to know that that girl is now one of the best in the schools and on her way to becoming a school prefect because of the change. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Dr. Judy. All right, Felicia, I'm going to put you on the spot for a final word. Is there another element of the programming that you'd like to highlight before we let everybody go, or just any last words you'd like to leave us with? I'm turning it to you for our final thought. No pressure, of course.
Indeed, I want to say and reiterate what Anande and Irene has said, that it is really worthy investing in girls' education. I just want to share that I have parents in the schools who are relying on the Binti Shupavu curriculum, the program itself, to take their children out of the normal situation. I remember one parents' engagement meeting that we had. One mom stood up and said, I have 4 daughters, and 3 of my daughters never completed secondary education. I'm really looking forward to this program. And this my Form 1 student. To ensure that she completes her secondary education, it will be my dream. It will be my hope to see her complete her education. So these are the kind of parents that we're working with that are really looking forward to the program. This is what Binti Shupavu is bringing to the communities, the hope that communities had lost in terms of their girl children. That's what I can say. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for making this time. I truly appreciate it. For everyone watching, we will have more updates to come. Please stay tuned to Daring Girls blog on our website, to our social media. We are looking forward to continuing to share stories and impact and what we're hearing from these amazing women as they continue to implement this really remarkable program. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. And thank you to all of our partners for your great work and for being here today. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.